All right, and we're live.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy day before voter registration deadline for a lot of places. Okay, we've got a few people on Twitter.
Yay.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, Nickel. He says he's new.
I'm new too. I don't know what's going on.
Welcome. Derek, what's up? Michael. It's time
Hey,
for
Michael.
the podcast. Rodney, good evening. Thanks for coming. D23 fanatic. Can't wait for Avengers Campus to first open in Hollywood Studios. Drew, what's up?
Hey, Drew.
Let's see. I'll let it fill up just a hair more, and then we'll get started. I'll go ahead and I'll leave that up for now. That's fine. Okay, we are at 60-ish.
Ooh.
Well, it was like 62, and then it went down to 50.
Aw. Someone saw I was on tonight, and they're like, logging off.
Seth, if you don't know what's going on, we're off the rails.
We're all in trouble on so many levels.
Well, I think we can go ahead and get started. I feel like we're kind of steadying out in viewership. So, in 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 55 of the Attractions Podcast. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Seth.
And we're here to talk to you about the latest and greatest theme park news, as well as what's going on in our own lives. So, Seth, how have you been this week?
I've been great. I just had a wonderful weekend of experiencing some alternative Halloween attractions.
Ooh.
We've seen what the big boys like Hallowscream and Halloween Horror Lights are like this year, but I checked out two the lower budget attractions, but still really interesting. Sir Henry's Trail, which is off of I-4 on exit 22. It's Plant City, about 2/3 of the way between Orlando and Tampa. And they've been around for years. They are an outdoor haunted, and they're still doing the same basic thing that they've always done. I think outdoor experiences obviously are perfect for a pandemic. But this year they're doing timed admissions and assigning you an order of the that you get to go through, spread the crowds out. We were there for media night. It didn't look like wait times were really bad, and I really enjoyed all 3 of the walkthroughs. Works out to about $10 per haunt, so that's not bad at all. And I did a really cool thing called Infected, which is a theater company called Phoenix Tears here in Orlando. They're performing it out in Ocoee, which has a really cute little downtown strip, and you're walking kind of along the woods, behind some businesses, through a little park, and you're listening to a 3D audio drama, pre-recorded audio, but there's a technician that is there triggering audio effects live that go into your ears to match the timing of the live actors who are around you. And I'll just say that there are murder hornets involved.
Oh.
And if you remember the old Drew Carey sounds show or the monster sound show at the old Disney MGM studios, listening to those 3D audio things that would create the sensation that something is really there right next to your ear, imagine that with murder hornets, okay?
Hornets feels like years ago.
Right? Well, these are actually mutant zombie murder hornets, so I'm sure those will be showing up in real life next week.
Awesome. Can't wait for
that. And yeah, if you Google Phoenix Tears Infected, that was a really neat experience. I'm glad I got a chance to try that out.
Ooh. Well, we've been decorating for Halloween. Yeah, so we are renting a house here in Austin, and part of our rental property next to us is like an empty lot that they could have built a house on, but they didn't. So we've turned it into a graveyard. We bought a bunch of tombstones, and we like put garden stakes on them so they would stay in the ground and not get blown away. Josh went to Home Depot to get dirt, and now we've got dirt in front of the tombstones, so it looks like they were freshly buried. And we've got lights with theater gels on them, so it's like purple and green. And he got this really cool light bulb for our porch that makes it look like it's on fire.
Ooh.
So we are like going hard decorating, even though we probably won't get any trick-or-treaters or anything.
Yeah, we're really we're stocking up on candy as if we're going to have trick-or-treaters, and we might just have to take care of it ourselves.
You can't let it go to waste.
I just hope no one's name who we know are on those tombstones in your yard, right?
Ugh. Well, I'll take a picture. It probably looks great now that it's all dark outside, and post it on Twitter for those who want to see.
I'm very jealous. My next door neighbor has a giant, like 20-foot tall skeleton sitting on top of his roof, and it blinks. The eyes are like LED screens, and they blink at you, and it's amazing.
I don't like that. Is it the 12-foot tall skeleton that's like a meme right now? Is it the same one?
It might be. I'm not up on all of the what the cool kids are into, but I just saw him put up on his roof. I just astounded.
It's like a meme thing that's going around where it might be Home Depot or Lowe's or something, but it's a 12-foot tall skeleton that most people can't fit inside their house when they're bringing it home, so it has to live outside.
Oh yeah, this is right on the top of his peaked roof, and he rules the neighborhood now. We are all his minions.
Oh man, I kind of love that, but I hate that it blinks.
Yeah.
That's scary. Other things I did this week, I got my first post-COVID haircut. It was a big deal for me. I really needed it, and I registered to vote. That was about all I did this week. Yeah.
Good for you.
Exercise your rights.
And if you are going to request, depending on where you live, if you're going to request a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot, you better jump on that. I know the deadline's probably passed in a lot of places. So
yeah,
check with your local board of elections. Your mileage may vary.
Do that. Our deadline is to register is tomorrow, but Texas is one of those like 3 states that won't let you do mail-in if COVID is your excuse. So.
Yeah, and you got your drop-off locations cut down to only 1 per county, right? And you've got some pretty big counties.
I live in Travis, and luckily I know exactly where our drop-off point is, so it should be a done deal, pretty easy.
Yep. Plan ahead. Don't wait till November.
Yes. All right. Now that our PSA is over, let's get into the news. Oh, heck. I clicked the wrong button. It's live, folks. This is live television. Wahoo. Boom. All right. First up this week, there are some returning offerings coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios this fall.
Yes. And I believe we may have discussed previously that Frozen.
Yes.
This is the storyteller's version of Frozen, which is actually a little bit more about making fun of Frozen than Frozen itself. But it's the sing-along celebration, and it's one of the first shows involving equity actors. I can speak, really. Union actors that is coming back to Disney's Hollywood Studios. So that's great to see.
Can I tell you a story about my experience at Frozen sing-along celebration? The only time I've ever gone.
Please do.
Okay. When it was an old Early Night Live episode, so it's probably still on the Attractions YouTube channel somewhere if you want to go digging through it. But Banks and I went to go see this show, and I had never seen it before. And they were singing In Summer, and it gets to the winter's a good time to stay in and cuddle, but put me in summer and I'll be a... Yeah. And I screamed out puddle because I wanted to see them. Oh, they got so angry at me. They daggers immediately looked right at me, and I was just like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake.
Oh, you're lucky you didn't get tossed out of there.
I know, but that was just like a little thing that I always remembered, and I thought it was so funny, even though it was cheesy. But
I won't That's my favorite show at Hollywood Studios. But the storytellers really do a great job of kind of, winking at it and making it entertaining for the parents and not just the kids. There's some sly stuff going on in that script.
There, one of them, I think she's the blonde lady that is there sometimes. She goes a little too far sometimes.
Yeah, that cast really does kind of push the boundaries
I love it.
of what's acceptable in a Disney show. So I'm glad to see that coming back. And the character, I was a little bit confused about this announcement about the character cavalcades because I thought that had been going on all along.
Yeah.
So that shows how up to date I am. So I guess we're getting more motorcades with Mickey and Friends, Minnie Mouse, Chip and Dale, all of the Fab Five, presumably, and it also looks like The Incredibles out in the streets.
Yeah. I wonder if now they'll be on a more regular schedule, like if it'll be in the Times guides or if it'll still be random.
Yeah, it's interesting that they made this part of the announcement because I was under the impression this was something that was going on already.
Yeah, I thought so too, which I also thought it was weird, but maybe
Sometimes they just sort of slip something that was already going on there to make it seem like the announcement's a little bigger than it actually is. But
yeah.
and the same thing for Disney Junior Play and Dance. I could swear that the last time I was in the park, a version of that show was being advertised. So I think the Frozen show is the only real new news in this bit of news. But I noticed that they do not mention anything as of yet about the Beauty and the Beast stage show returning or the Little Mermaid stage show returning. I know there was a lot of speculation not too long ago that Little Mermaid would not come back, and Disney kind of clapped back at that, insisting that they were just putting up a new sign, everything's fine. But no word of those actors going back to work. And the same with the Beauty and the Beast show. The Grand Floridian Orchestra has had their final performance by this taping. So they have sadly retired that group, and so there's right now no show at all filling the Theater of the Stars that I'm aware of.
Last I saw on Twitter, I think they had put down social distancing markers over at Little Mermaid.
Yep. So they are preparing, but no announcement as of yet of that returning.
We will keep you posted. Continuing with Disney, but this time coming from your couch, Disney Plus has launched its own watch party feature called Group Watch. Now, if you don't know what Watch Party is, it's like a Netflix plugin through Chrome where you can watch your favorite shows and movies on Netflix specifically with friends, even if you're not together. Disney Plus has launched their own version of this. You have to launch it through the mobile app, which is kind of annoying, but you can send an invite to your friends that also have Disney Plus because they have to be subscribed. And you can all watch the new season of The Mandalorian together. And if someone needs to take a bathroom break, they can pause it and everyone's show will pause. You can send reaction emojis in real time to react to specific portions of the show.
So I'm old enough to remember when we had this amazing technology that let people in different houses all across the country watch a television show together at the same time. Yeah? It was called broadcast television. But we weren't able to all pause it at the same time to go pee. We had to wait for the commercials in order to do that. I think there's some neat ideas here. I think the idea of, especially with family being spread all over the country, of being able to have some together time remotely by watching a movie together. I kind of wish that there was a voice chat or even a text chat more than just being able to emoji at each other. But I guess that's what your other smartphone is for. While your one smartphone is running the show, you're using your other device to do a messenger group, I guess.
Yeah, you can set up a family Discord and turn on voice chat or something.
Exactly.
I'm trying to set up a Discord server. It's complicated in case you actually want to think about doing that. But this is cool. I saw that it went live over the weekend. I haven't tried it yet, but I would like to give it a shot just to experience it. I've used Watch Party with Netflix before, but it has a chat feature on the side so you can chat while you're watching.
Now, if only they had a way to share it with people who didn't have subscriptions.
Right? They want you to pay that
Yep.
$6.99 though. Next up, if you are local to Orlando and you want some Christmas fun, tickets to Christmas at Gaylord Palms are now on sale, and they've released their entire event offering as to what you can do this holiday.
And there's quite a bit more than I expected. I mean, they
Same.
lost the ice carving, but it looks like they've really plussed everything else, or at least brought it back as big as it was before.
Mm-hmm.
The the new concept art for the snow tubing area looks great. Before it was pretty much just a bare hill, but now they've got this kind of I don't know, sort of Santa meets Willy Wonka toy factory look going on that looks really fun. And I didn't expect the Cirque Dreams Unwrapped to come back, but they're going to have live performances on the stage, circus shows. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, and they're going to do a Grinch character breakfast.
I wonder if anyone's told Universal about that.
Oh, I didn't think about that, but now I am. They're also going to do a #lit light show in the atrium. You can see that up here in this concept art. I don't. I've been to Gaylord Palms once during the holiday, but I don't think I got to catch the atrium show.
They really do it up.
Yeah.
I'd say more than any hotel outside of Disney property, and considering how Disney is scaling back this year, they'll probably be the best Christmas display in town in a hotel this year. The light show is, it's not subtle. It is not, if Jesus came back, I'm not sure he would really know what to make of it, but it sure is pretty and it sparkles real good.
And the music is always nice.
Yes.
And
There's one thing on there's all sorts of cool stuff going on. There's an elf training academy, which is an interactive experience that I'm jealous that's just for kids. I wonder how big a kid you can be to do that. And they brought back the gingerbread decorating and the photos with Santa. But can we discuss the buffet?
yeah,
I believe they're planning for Christmas and Thanksgiving buffets. And I don't know, what are your personal feelings? Personally, I'm all down with family style service. I'll sit down at a table, and if you want to bring me out a big tray, I don't know how I feel about steam trays and picking up tongs and sneeze guards on the salad bar. I don't know how I feel about all that anymore.
yeah. I've never, to be honest, I've never really been a huge fan of buffets to
Oh,
begin with.
I was the biggest, but you bring, especially if there are like crab legs or lobster tails on that buffet, let me loose. I'm all over it. But that's the old me. That's pre-COVID me.
Yeah, I think family style is just like so much nicer. You still get that kind of like loading up your plate kind of experience, but I don't, it's a bold choice to open up a buffet in our current world times, you know?
Now I'm sure other hotels that I've read about in town that are doing Thanksgiving buffets have talked about how they're going to be closely monitored and they're going to, use precautions. But I personally, I'm probably going to pass on buffets for this holiday season, just myself.
I think that's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
But
But everything else there at Gaylord looks really good.
yeah, I back when they had ice, I did the slide. It was very cool, but super fun. So this looks just as entertaining.
Yep.
I would recommend it. Over at Disneyland Paris, across the pond, they're getting standby pass, which is basically a boarding pass of sorts, virtual line in the app.
Yeah, this is interesting because in terms of function, it works a lot like the Max Pass system at Disneyland California, where you can use the app in your phone to get a reserve time to come back using 30-minute windows as opposed to the hour windows that we're used to with Fast Pass here in Orlando. The service is free, But it looks like it's going to be either mandatory or unavailable. It's not going to be a combination of both a standby queue and a standby pass. It looks like they're going to open these rides in the morning with a regular standby queue, and at a certain point where the line builds up long enough, they'll cut that off and make people get one of these free standby passes. They do say that in the evening before the park closes, you'll be able to get in without one of those, which makes it sound quite a bit like going on Hagrid's at Universal, or maybe one of the haunted houses that they're running right now, where they use the virtual line there. Very similar thing to manage the queue during the middle of the day, and then in the mornings and the evenings you can just jump right in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also slow rolling this out. So for now, I think it's only available at Crush's Coaster. And then over the next few months and weeks, they will roll it out to all of their other major popular attractions in both parks.
Yeah, and the idea is that unlike an express pass or a fast pass, this is not cutting the line. You're not jumping to the front. There's still going to be a queue. I think this is more so that they can, not have these long standby queues spilling out into the parks because of social distancing. Frees people up to be able to go out and do other things. And keep in mind, you'll only be able to get one of them for your party at a time.
Ugh. I mean, you could do that at Disneyland Paris. At Disneyland, I would be a bit nervous, but I loved the Max Pass when I used it over there.
Max Pass is my favorite thing.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's almost too good where you get to the point
Right?
where you have so many fast passes, you wind up doing, I don't want to do this ride a third time today. I'm bored. Yeah, it's almost too good.
That was the only way I got to do any of the Cars Land things.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might, that'll be a whole nother podcast to discuss whether Max Pass or Fast Pass or those kind of things, when they'll come back to the domestic parks, if they'll come back, how they'll have to change. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yep, so that standby, look for that if you're out at Disneyland Paris in the near future.
Yeah. Over at Legoland Florida, speaking of virtual line features, they just added their own virtual line into their mobile app. And it is easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is it supposed to be easy as 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, see, I thought that, but
it says moderately complicated as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Intermediate level of counting here. So all you have to do is pick your attraction in the app, virtually join the line, choose your riders, and then wait your turn, and then you can ride.
Yep. And which is great because a lot of the attractions at Legoland are rather low capacity, and those queues are not necessarily built for big people. So the chance to not have to wait in those switchbacks is a great option.
Yeah. I was really surprised to see Legoland jumping on the virtual line thing as like a regular offering, but it's awesome. Everything is awesome there.
Everything is awesome.
Don't give us a copyright tag.
Oh.
It was a cover.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 notes. I can sing 7 notes before we go to copyright jail.
Oh, hey, I didn't know that. I'm glad you did. Here's a little nice thing from Universal. They're donating a 20-acre site of land to be used for affordable housing in Orange County, Florida. And I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say about it because I saw this after the fact and I was like, oh.
Tell me what I'm going to say.
Is it about the road that they want built?
Well, it's tangentially related to the extension of John Young Parkway. There was a lot of controversy when the county approved using taxpayer money to extend that road that is basically just serving Epic Universe. And, while it wasn't necessarily tit for tat, they announced this donation originally right about the same time. It was convenient. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. But it doesn't mean this is definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
Our region needs affordable housing. Now, I would love to hear a definition of exactly what affordable housing is, because I feel like sometimes what they decide someone should be able to afford every month for rent, it does not match up with what, the parks in the best of times are paying, entry level full time employees,
Yeah.
much less right now when so many people are out of work or just working, short hours.
Yeah.
But this is a start. This is a great thing. It won't break ground until 2022. So this isn't going
Yeah.
to solve anyone. We have right now, it made national news. We have people in the Star Motel on 192 who are living without water and power. We have really desperate people here in Orlando who need help before 2022.
Yeah.
But this is a positive thing that Universal is doing, so I applaud.
Yeah. I hope that this would be something that team members and local theme park employees and beyond could afford and not
Yeah.
have like 5 roommates. Because that, when I lived in Orlando, I'm going to be real for a second. When I lived in Orlando and I first moved there, I lived with 4 other people because
And
rent was so expensive.
the town changed a lot. When I moved here in 1996, I was, just a couple months out of college. I had, a couple $100 in my bank account and not much else. And threw everything I owned in a U-Haul and drove down without even knowing where I was going to sleep that night, and
That's awesome.
found a cheap apartment on 192. Because right back then, you could find a cheap apartment for 600-700 bucks a month.
Wow.
There is nothing safe and affordable in the area close to Disney and close to Universal on that
Hmm.
scale anymore.
No.
You couldn't do what I did back then.
Yeah. So I really hope that this does do some good for the local community. I wish it was coming sooner. But like you said, it is a start.
Yeah, it's a step.
D23 has dropped a bomb on us, a date bomb.
Hmm.
They have shared that now D23 will be postponed to 2022. It was supposed to happen next year, but I guess
Yeah.
they decided to play it safe and just push it back a year. So the event will now be taking place September 9th through the 11th, 2022, which, if you are a Star Wars person, that is like 2 weeks before Star Wars Celebration.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right up against it.
So if you plan on going to both, you might as well book an Airbnb for a month.
You
'Cause
might
you're gonna
stay in
be
town.
out there.
Yep. It's a little disappointing that maybe there'll be some sort of virtual something next year, or
Mhm.
having to wait a whole nother year for D23 to come around. Personally, I enjoy watching the information that comes out of these events.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't attend them personally just because I don't like struggling with those crowds if I don't have to.
yeah.
And I find, I found from Star Wars Celebration that I had press pass for the last one that was here in Orlando, and I was able to see more on my couch watching the live streams than I was actually in the building. So obviously D23 is not going to go quiet until 2022. But yeah, if you're planning on going out in 2021, it's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah. Here's my question, your opinion.
Hmm.
2023 is the 100th anniversary. Are
Yeah.
they going to break their biannual tradition and have another one in 2023?
It's that's a really interesting question. Because you would think they would want to do one for the 100th anniversary, and if
Yeah.
you're going to do it, you would want to do it in California, which is kind of Disney's home. It would have made more sense to me if you're going to push it back, do a 2022 out here in Florida, because I
Mm.
think those of us in Florida can agree. I feel like be fair to Florida,
Yeah.
that California always gets the majority of the cool D23 stuff, and we
Yeah,
kind
they
of get the
do.
leftovers. Um, So I would have maybe flipped it over here and done something here. I'm knows that they're going to have plenty of free convention space here in 2022 in Orlando because
Oh yeah.
our convention rooms aren't going to be filled up again for a while. They would have had plenty of room to do it, and then that at least would have spread out the Star Wars with the D23 a little.
Yeah,
But
I was really surprised that they
yeah,
basically bumped it up against Star Wars
yeah.
Celebration. I wonder how long that will last or if they're just going to go for it.
It's a mystery, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I would the way that everything, a week feels like a year now. So when I
Yep.
think of 2022, I just that seems like an imaginary number to me.
In
That's
my
that's way too far off for me to start planning.
in my head, I feel like I turn into the one who picks the wrong Holy Grail in Indiana Jones and like instantly ages and dies.
Chose
That's
poorly.
yeah, that's what I feel like when I think of 2021, 2022.
I'm just trying to get to next Tuesday. That's it.
Right? Um,
Oh,
Here's a sad one for you. Volcano Bay is having its first seasonal closure since it opened, starting November 2nd, and it'll be closed for 4 months. Um,
um, yeah, having Volcano Bay up and operating was like kind of one edge that Universal had over Disney because Disney still hasn't reopened Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach. And they also have said those parks are going to open up around March of 2021.
yeah,
So that was one thing that now SeaWorld's the only one with an operating water park, which kind of blows my mind. You've got one more month to take advantage of that 3 park annual pass if you've bought one.
yeah,
The silver lining is if you bought that annual pass like I did, you'll be getting an automatic free 2-month extension on your pass. And if you don't like that, you can call guest services and they'll give you a prorated refund for downgrading.
nice.
But that's about the only silver lining. I'm really hoping that all of the I'm sorry, all the team members over there can be reassigned to another location. Yeah, it's hard. On the plus side, maybe this will finally give them the time to do some much needed maintenance. All the other water parks in town do seasonal closures, and Volcano Bay has never had any extended downtime other than when a hurricane came through.
Yeah,
So it could use it. There have been some troubling safety issues over the years at Volcano Bay, and I think this would be a great opportunity for them to, drain everything, inspect everything, tighten every bolt, retest everything, and make the park look as good as it did on opening day, or preferably better, because opening day was a little rough.
ooh. I've only been once,
Yeah.
but I
I,
had a good time. I got traumatized.
it's a great park. It's beautiful. You can have a lot of fun. But
Mhm.
which traumatized you? Which slide?
Oh, the not the. I think I did the blue one and not the red one, but I did one of the drop slides, and it was horrifying.
The one where you're in a capsule? Like,
Yes,
yes, and you
I.
hear the drums, and then the floor drops out from under
Oh
you.
God, I thought I was gonna drown. We went for an ENL episode, behind the scenes for you ENL fans, and I got in. I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it," because I'm like, I'm not really scared of water slides or roller coasters or anything. I'll try anything once. And as soon as the floor dropped out from underneath me, I immediately regretted my decision.
Yeah, it's like riding the Incredible Hulk without a roller coaster seat.
And you're getting like waterboarded at the
Yep,
same
yep,
time.
yep. Straight up the nostrils. The only
Yep.
way I can do it is you cross your arms, but you take one hand off of your shoulder and use it to pinch everything closed. That's the only way.
See, I should have thought about that. I didn't. I wish I could have had like a GoPro in there or something to
Yeah,
like record my experience, but I'll never do that again.
yeah. It's kind of you see those video that they have medical cameras that are like on a long tube that they shove down someone's throat. I
Ugh,
feel like that camera when I'm on that ride,
that's
going through an
such
intestinal tract.
that's such a good analogy. That's exactly what it's like. And our last bit of news in the queue. Remember last week when we wondered when they were going to say something about this?
Finally!
Literally a day later, they did.
Yay! Yay!
So it's
Uh,
official now.
I have
Yay!
gotten so tired of typing out the yet unannounced Jurassic Park roller coaster. I can now just call it the Velocicoaster.
With capital
With a
C and
capital C.
coaster.
I'm sorry. The other way, capital C.
Capital C. Yeah, there we go. It looks cool.
It looks gorgeous. That nighttime rendering with the lights on the train making the trails. Oh, it's pretty.
And there's a dark ride portion. I would play it for you here, but we would get tagged. So go watch it. It with
Yes,
like the
conceptual renderings only, as the disclaimer says. So
yes,
everything is subject to change, but it's going to be real cool.
I'm very excited.
The thing that I think is kind of really mind-blowing is that if you watch the POV renderings in that teaser video and then compare them to the fan-made one that has been posted on YouTube, those fans got it just about right.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks really close to the professional version.
How about that?
Yeah, they guessed. But there were some things that we didn't know about. Like, I love these bursts of flame. You see in one quick shot as the train comes over this giant top hat and then comes down to what looks like the entrance to the queue. Big bursts of flame coming out of the torches. This is beautiful.
I hope there's like when you do the barrel roll over the water, I hope there's like a water feature or something right there.
It seems like there's some sort of water fountain or waterfall underneath you. And it just, the way it frames the Discovery Center, it just looks beautiful. It's definitely not the original look of the space, but I think it's really refreshed it and modernized it in a really, really attractive way. And can we talk about the statistics for this roller coaster?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up the specs.
For those of you who were still upset that they got rid of Dragon Challenge because that was a real intense, serious coaster, and Hagrid's is just a family coaster, this is your intense, serious coaster right here. 12 seconds total of airtime. That's a lot of zero-G when you have nothing but a lap bar. There's no shoulder restraints. You're going to be floating out of that seat. I'm going to be pushing my lap bar down nice and secure that first time. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
It's long. It's fast. If I keep stringing in adjectives together, we're going to get a tag does not safe for work. I don't.
I can't wait. I am not going to lie, though. I will probably experience some anxiety beforehand, like leading up to getting in that seat.
I'm going to experience a little anxiety leading up to this one. Yeah, I love intense coasters, but there's some crazy maneuvers in this thing. It just kind of looks like someone took a handful of spaghetti and threw it down and said, "Make that a track."
Someone should do that in Planet Coaster. Go do that really quick.
And what I love is that even though this is obviously a really high speed thrill ride, they are not skimping on the theming.
Yeah.
My favorite little touch, I assume that this is intentional by the creators and not coming from the osprey that have nested on the track. But I noticed some broken eggs on the rockwork. Someone caught a picture of some eggshells up there at the very peak of the sculpted rockwork that they've done. So I guess life does find a way.
I love it, man. I can't wait for this thing to open.
Yep.
And
the hardest part of this announcement is that it's going to be in summer of 2021. And I know we've all been watching it go up so fast, and they're pushing cars through to test the envelope, thinking this could open in spring, right?
Yeah.
But I guess we're gonna wait for summer. Now, summer is flexible. Summer could come early. You never know. Summer can also be September in some years, depending on.
I really hope they don't do that.
No. I think that we're gonna. I think as soon as they see the first signs of crowds starting to come back, hopefully we will have a vaccine by summer that's fairly available. That a lot of this will be behind us, and as soon as they see travel and tourism showing the first sign of life, they are going to throw the Velocicoaster out of there as the big piece of red meat to lure
Yeah.
the tourists back to Universal for sure.
I wonder how long this thing will sit finished until then. That'll
Yeah.
kill me.
Well, the worst is if the testing crew, if we get to just watch them riding it over and
Oh
over, they can
man.
point and laugh at us from the top of the top hat, knowing
Here
that we have
here
open
they're
it for annual
excited.
pass holders. Listen, open it for the annual pass holders. We'll be your guinea pigs. You don't even have to spend money on water dummies. We'll sign waivers.
I honestly like people would do that. Universal, if you're
Absolutely.
listening, people would absolutely do
Absolutely.
that. But that's it for me for news in the queue. And for the main attraction this week, if I would be remiss if I didn't talk about it, and it feels wrong to not bring it up. But I also wanted to put something positive on it. So an article I put out today kind of relates to that. So hopefully this won't be too big of a downer for you guys. We're gonna try to get through it. The big elephant in the room. Last week, Disney announced a layoff, a massive layoff across all branches of the company, 28,000 domestic employees. And that sucks. It really hurts as a former cast member, as someone who still has friends who are cast members who are still furloughed, sitting at home and just waiting for their email at this point. Um, I hate that it's come to this.
Yeah. You know, Fox called me up the other day just as news of this was breaking and asked me to go on and talk about it. And I rarely turn down an opportunity to talk, but I had to pass. I was just too sad. I had nothing constructive to say. I said, please find another journalist because I got nothing good to say about this.
Yeah.
It's hard to wrap your brain around the scale of this. But like I think I was reading a column by Scott Maxwell in the Orlando Sentinel that was saying that already here in Orlando there's about just short of 7,000 people I think who have gotten the notifications, and notifications are still coming. People were finding
Yeah.
out last week. Have been holding on all this weekend, and there's probably going to be more bad news Monday and Tuesday. But already, it's like the number of people just here in Orlando who have already found out that they're permanently laid off is larger than all but 10 companies in the city. Like more people are being fired than make up the entire company at most other places. Um, Disney World's largest single site employer in the country. It's over 100,000 people who work here, and it's such a big blow. There are people all over the country. Obviously, this is also affecting people out in California. There are people who work for Disney all across America,
Yeah.
but it's especially tough. This is a huge part of Orlando's tax base, our economy. There's going to be people next month who can't pay the rent, can't pay the mortgage, and are going to have to look at, leaving Florida or finding a completely different line of work.
Yeah.
And, I know that there's been a lot of political talk around this. Disney has been pretty pointed in saying that this is in large part because they're still not able to open California. But it's not just California people who are affected by these layoffs, and it's also not just people who are already furloughed. Some people who have been working up until now are now, getting sent home.
Yeah.
So it's hitting every level, every demographic, and I. I don't think it's the kind of thing they can just come back a month from now and said, all right, everything's over, come on back to work.
Yeah.
Once you ring this bell, it's hard to unring it.
Hmm. I don't know what the recall like amount of time is, if they happen to get this worked out and they are able to come back. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
It,
It's, to a certain extent, it's about capacity restraints. If they're only allowed to have X number of guests, then it doesn't make sense to have twice as many employees.
yeah,
But it's also about demand. I think even, we see now here in Florida that we're in phase three and there are no restrictions being imposed on the government on what they can do, but they are still restricting themselves based on what's safe for the guest and what makes the guests feel safe enough to come. And even if they just threw the doors open wide tomorrow, we're not going to see the attendance like we would have this time last year.
yeah,
We're not going to see that attendance suddenly return. I think it's going to be a long time of belt tightening for everyone.
yeah.
And the part of it that's hard for me is I'm friends with people who are frontline employees, but I'm also I've been around long enough to make friends with people who are Imagineers and managers and people in the back offices, and you know, if to a certain extent, if people who are earlier in their careers and working more front-facing jobs, those skills are in a lot of ways applicable to any kind of retail or restaurant. They can go, when the jobs return in general, they'll, maybe be able to find something. But if you have spent, 30 years of your life training in theme park entertainment, um, that's an interesting sound.
Oh, my
Hello, puppy.
sorry, my
Hello, puppy.
puppy has
I I was like, am I breathing strangely all of a sudden? I, I
Brody. Do you
I'm
guys
sorry.
want to meet him?
Yes, please. I move it to Pittsburgh.
He ran off, but that was him. If you caught
Yeah.
clips of my dog.
And anyway, to just wrap up what I was saying, that I'm afraid for some of my friends who are, they might have been approaching the middle or even their end of their careers and working in things like theme park entertainment, Imagineering, these kind of very specialized design things that, if you're not building a theme park, what are you doing? How do you take that very specialized skill and translate that into a whole new career at this point? It's tough, and I hope that we are able to get through this, and people are
Yeah.
able to hang on, and just stay hopeful and reach out if you need help.
Yes,
And you wrote about the cast member pantry, right?
I did. I posted
Yeah.
this today. If you don't know, the cast member pantry is a cast member. Brody is being really bad right now. Sir. All right. The menace has been assuaged. All right. So the cast member pantry was started by a cast member who was furloughed herself. And back when they cut the Disney College program, she was helping kids move out. And she noticed that they had a lot of perishable goods and groceries that were just going to go to waste. And she, rather than let them go to waste, she kind of took on that burden herself and started collecting all of these goods to hopefully get them back in the hands of cast members who were furloughed and needed them. And it's kind of exploded since then.
Hmm.
And now they have like a little warehouse space. They're constantly taking donations. Local businesses in the community have started to support their efforts and helping them raise money. They had a car wash not too long ago, and it's really incredible to see how this self-started thing has kind of brought the Disney community online, at least Twitter, together. I see so many people posting links to cast member pantry all the time.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Tom Bricker from Disney Tourist Blog. I just
Yeah,
read an article about how he has helped raise, I think now $30,000
it's almost
towards them.
40.
Wow, wow, it
Yeah.
keeps going up. Yeah, a lot of people are pitching in to contribute to this cast member pantry. So if you need help, if you're a cast member, reach out. Also, I want to give a shout out to something here in Orlando called GOPAR. It's the Greater Orlando Performing Arts Relief Fund.
Oh,
It's gopar.org. and a bunch of theater companies in town have gotten together to support actors, especially, we've got a lot of equity actors who have been out of work from Disney. So to kind of support performers and stage managers, anyone who is in the entertainment field and has been out of work. And Attractions Magazine is actually teaming up with Jason Sorrell, who was one of the founding creators of the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure show, also a former Imagineer. And he's putting together a Bill and Ted Excellent Halloween reunion. It's going to be a virtual reunion of a ton of people who worked on the early years of the show. Too many names for me to possibly mention, but we are actually going to be hosting that on our YouTube channel. And it's going to be fun because I think that's going to be my first time running the StreamYard board. I'll be the man behind the curtain, and I'm kind of terrified of learning the software. I might need to call you aside for some tutorials.
I can also, because I've never seen Bill and Ted. I never got to catch it before it ended, but I can like hide away in the background and like run everything.
All right, we will talk.
Yeah, we'll talk.
It looks like that's going to be coming up on Thursday, October 22nd, and that's going to be a fundraiser, like I said, for GoPar. So one of these organizations, please, if you're able to, help out, great, and if you need help, please ask.
Yes. Specifically for cast member Pantry, you can help support them by purchasing from their Amazon wish list, which I have linked in the article on attractionsmagazine.com. You can also give them monetary support by sending funds to their Venmo at cast member Pantry. But there are other people in the Disney community as well who are lending a helping hand. You mentioned Tom and Sarah Bricker. They are doing a fundraiser for Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida. Last I checked, they had like $38,000 in donations.
I apologize. You're right. That's that's Second Harvest, not the pantry that they are donating towards. You can fix that in post.
And then Michael Does Disney, a well-known influencer on Instagram, is offering to read and edit resumes and cover letters for cast members who were laid off, which is always something you need whenever you're job hunting. And Dan Cockerell, he was the former VP of Magic Kingdom, and his dad, Lee, who was the former VP of Walt Disney World as a whole. They're going to be offering... They're going to be offering their webinars on life after Disney with stories and anecdotes from their experiences, professional advice, all for free to laid off cast members, which I think is awesome. So if you know of any other support being offered to cast members during this time, please leave a comment at the end of this, because if I will look at it, look into it, and then add it to this, because the least that we can do for these people right now is to offer them support and resources. And I think that that's super important. So I want to do my part. If you know anything I've missed, let me know. I'm off my soapbox now.
Well, that was a bit depressing.
Yeah.
It does make me feel good to see how the community is kind of coming together and people are supporting each other. I hope that lasts.
Yeah. And I hope it gets better somehow. I don't know. Sorry to make it all sad, but I didn't want to not talk about it and pretend like everything is hunky-dory.
We need to start ending the show with a knock-knock joke or something.
Okay. Knock-knock jokes. All right. Okay. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Annie.
Annie who?
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything better than you.
There you go.
Okay, maybe we need a different show ender then. We'll come up with something.
We'll come up.
We need a signature bit to wrap these things up, so we don't just go cold out of the news.
Yeah. let's do some listener thank yous. I only have one
Yes.
this week. In case you don't know what our listener thank yous are, this is where we say your name on the air if you have recently joined our subscription service at Club or VIP level. We have 3 different subscription tiers for you, so you can pick the one that fits you and your budget best. And this week, I'd like to say thank you to Stephanie Sykes. Thank you so much for becoming a subscriber.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Everything you guys do helps support this podcast, helps support Attractions Magazine, the publication, the website, everything. You guys help keep this going, and we could not be more thankful. And if you are interested, our fall 2020 issue is available now at attractionsmagazine.com/store. And someone in here might have written an article in there that you can read, maybe, if you want.
I have it in the drawer right behind me. I would pull it out, but I think I will pull my earphones out in the process, and then it'll just be a disastrous. But yes, it's a lovely tribute to all theme park attractions, but mostly the Bourne Stuntacular.
I love that. Is that what the title is? Because if not, that's what it should.
No, that's what Sam Eagle would call it.
Now, Seth, if you would tell us where everyone can find you on the interwebs.
Yes, you can find me on the Twitter and the Instagram at skubersky or at the UG series, and my blog is on the web at theunofficialguides.com.
And you can find me at Brittany Tuttle. That's BRITTANITUTTLE on Twitter and Instagram. Yes, spell funny, I forgot because I was thinking about how I've recently started logging my movie watching and game playing on letterboxed style apps. I have them linked on my Twitter. So if you want to see what movies I'm watching, you can look at that.
I'm almost afraid to look.
I've been watching lots of scary movies. We're doing one scary movie every night for October.
Oh, what was last night?
Last night was a double feature of House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
You can stop before you get to the third one.
Yeah, that's what... I haven't seen that one, but I've read the reviews, so I feel like it's probably fine. And I like the ending of Devil's Rejects. I'd like to just leave it there.
Leave it there.
Yeah. You can also find both of us every day at attractionsmagazine.com or follow Attractions on socials at Attractions on Twitter, at Attractions Magazine on Instagram, and of course, youtube.com/Attractions Magazine, where you're watching this. If you're watching while we're recording, hi. And until next week, I hope you guys stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, but most of all, have fun and gear up for Halloween because it's coming.
Boo. Bye.
Bye, everybody.